And good evening or afternoon, everybody, on this beautiful day in Melbourne. Another lockdown day, but does that dampen our spirits? No, not for Simon and me. We love these sort of days. It's a challenge for us, and we've got a very special show on for you today. So one of the first things that I'd like to do is just read out a mission. Why are we here? So I'll just flash that on for you. Our mission, should we accept it, is to educate and engage with our audience with lively discussions and experts to gain their valuable experiences, tips and benefits of the business and wellbeing practices they can offer. So the next question is, what do I do? My business is wellbeing, and I love helping individuals and companies realise their wellbeing and get the feeling of vibrance, purpose and passion. So that's what my business is. And I'd like to introduce to you now Simon. Tell us all about you, Simon.
Yeah, g'day Tony. How are you, my friend?
You're very good.
Fantastic on this sunny Friday afternoon. For those that don't know me, my name is Simon Bowden and I'm the owner of Simon Bowden Coaching and also the Marketing Business Coach. I've been an international marketing business coach for 25 plus years now, which makes me old every time I say it. And I'm also a master coach, which means that I've coached in excess of 10,000 hours. My aim is to look at each business I coach and I identify what's working and what's not working. I eradicate what's not working and replace it with strategies that do work. And I help business owners see the real potential in their businesses and, of course, in themselves. As a result, I can double or even triple the income in a 3 to 6 month period. I'm passionate about what I do and I love working with my clients, Tony, as you know.
That's right. And actually, Simon is helping me with my well-being. Did you know, Simon, that this week I've been in utter chaos. At the moment, we're getting our house ready for sale. We're in move mode at the moment, and the painters are in as I speak, and they're painting the upstairs, and it's been total chaos. We've been moving things around, but that's a good thing for us. It's been able to manage change and how to manage ourselves. And and what about you, Simon? What's your week been looking like?
Look, my week has been extremely busy, Tony, and obviously all my coaching is now online through this pandemic. But you know what? The thing is, it's still given me an opportunity to be able to touch base with my clients, and they appreciate it too. So it's been good for all, and we look. You know what? You just move forward and you deal with what challenges you've got ahead of you. And you make the best of it. So let's all give each other a big hug and move forward, as we say.
It's beautiful. And we've got some special guests today.
We do.
And they're going to talk to us all about HR. So I'm just going to introduce Carmel. And perhaps, Carmel, would you like to tell us what the Proven Group does? You're on mute. Sorry. Sorry, that's my fault. I've left you on mute. You're unmuted now. Talk.
Okay, good to go. Excellent. Thanks, Tony. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Carmel Brown, the director of the Proven Group. We specialise in HR, in particular in understanding people, improving their performance, increasing results, and providing our clients with peace of mind. And we also do specialise as well in resumes, careers, and recruitment.
Very good. Now, I'd like to also introduce to you our another special guest. We've got Belinda with us. So, Belinda, tell us what you do.
Hi, Tony, Simon, Carmel, great to see you all. So I work with Carmel at the Proven Group and I'm a human resources strategist. So I work with small businesses, medium-sized businesses, any size business with staff really, and help them navigate all of the fair work stuff and the awards and industrial relations kind of information, which is what we would call the transactional HR, and then get into some of the more fun stuff, which is the transformational HR stuff around leadership and management and culture in organisations.
Okay, beautiful. Now, I'm going to ask Carmel a question. Carmel, tell us where you are located. Whereabouts are you located?
I'm located in Ballarat,
Yes.
myself, and we do look after and service Melbourne and Geelong.
Very good. So I've got a question for you. Tell us about the history of the Proven Group. How did it start, and what is the story behind the business?
Yeah, sure. So we've been in business now for just over 10 years. My sister Bernadette, she's actually the other director as well. And we started the business writing resumes is how we started. And that being a very successful business even still to this day. But how we've grown is that it was probably about 3 years after we started writing resumes, is that all day, every day, you'd meet some great people. And the only undoing is that they either didn't have a very good resume or they just didn't have one at all. So no wonder they weren't getting the job that they wanted or getting noticed. There was one particular day I actually met a graduate accountant, and there was just something about him. He didn't have a resume at all. He said, I'm good with numbers, not with words. So can you help me? I said, sure. So wrote his resume. And as I said, there was something about him. And I thought, wow, I need to introduce you to a local accountant here in Ballarat. I actually know a lot of them. Obviously, we work very closely together with accountants. And I rang this particular accountant and I said, I don't even know if you're hiring at the moment, but you need to meet my client. There's just something about him. Anyway, he obviously got the same feeling I did and he hired him. So apart from the fact of that just being such a feel-good situation to be in the middle, that if either of my clients didn't know me, they wouldn't have met, is that it was a light bulb moment. And still to this day, it's a very big point of difference we have, is that we are the only resume writing business that has a database full of candidates that we've written for, not candidates that we judge by a piece of paper when they submit their resume like through Seek. And so we've built that relationship now with recruitment and with businesses that they call us for recruitment as their first port of call, save them writing the ad, advertising, shortlisting, etc. So that is a perfect day for me if I can introduce, for example, Bob to Betty, and they're that they get employed. And then a couple of years on from that is, of course, as placing candidates, employers were then asking us for position descriptions and employment contracts, or can you deal with this difficult staff member? I can't be the expert in everything, and I don't have the time to be anyway. So that's when I approached Belinda. I've known Belinda for quite a few years, and I asked her to partner with me to bring her expertise in what I wasn't an expert in. So not only to grow the business, but also to add more value to our clients. Years on now, we have Belinda. She specialises, as she said, as a senior HR strategist, also too in leadership and management. We also too have Kate Lancashire, who's also a senior HR strategist. Her additional skill set is in OH&S, which is really important for HR. And also we have Linda Redfern, who's also a senior HR strategist, and her additional skill set is investigations. So that's my thing.
Beautiful.
Wow.
There you go.
So, that's an amazing story. And what period of time was that?
Oh, so that's so we started just over 10 years ago in business. The resume is probably 3 years. Then we started the recruitment business a couple of years after that. So Belinda's been with me for a couple of years now. And then Kate and Linda have also joined forces with us as well in the last 12 months.
That's fantastic.
Growing in leaps and bounds.
I suppose from a business coach's point of view, the growth of your team by 200% in the last 2 years and the plans to grow again is an amazing achievement. So congratulations on that, firstly.
Thank
But
you.
I suppose what we would really like to hear is your secret in these uncertain times, how you've been able to do that.
Normally I don't tell secrets, but I will just for you, Simon.
Our audience will love you.
I'll smile for you.
So especially like during these times is that our business has grown organically, and it has been through our networks as well, and it's just educating our clients and clients coming into our business about the services that we offer. In particular, one of our services is a human resources information system, HRIS for short. So we use a lot of acronyms because of these big long words. They're a mouthful and no one understands them anyway. So there was a bit of a mini explosion when we started letting clients know about this particular service. And it's built around compliance. It's really what every business, if they don't have it, they should have it and probably must have it. It's also it allows us to do a lot of coaching and mentoring of business owners and also to their key staff. So as you mentioned that, yes, we have grown. We are looking at putting on another 2 staff in the very near future, like within the next 12 months. And the more franchise groups we do secure, we'll also be putting on additional staff. So I suppose to answer your question, our secret is just good old-fashioned customer service. And when the customers call us, they actually get a person. They don't get a machine, and they don't get a call center. Yeah. So the way our business is built as well is that we will partner one of our consultants that specialises in the group that our client is from, in particular franchisees. So the background that they're in or the industry, we will partner with one of our HR consultants that specialises in that industry. So they will get to know, obviously, the franchise, the franchisees, their business model, their staff. So when they call, it's important they don't have to tell the same story all over again. You don't have to play the same record. Just get to the point of why you actually need us, which makes it more efficient for their time. And personal touch, it just can't be replicated. Yeah. And that is probably our main point of difference. And lastly, is that personal service is actually one of our core values. So we live it, breathe it, and instill it into all of our client transactions.
And I can attest to that because my wife and I, we were invited by Belinda and Carmel to dine with them at lunchtime in Ballarat, and we had a magnificent talk, and they really showed that country sort of spirit, and you really felt, we really felt warm and welcome when you did that. So I think it's a trait never to be lost. I think that's so important to keep that especially with human relations and making people feel friendly and welcome and warm.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony. It was great having you here.
That's right.
I'll just jump in.
Again. I loved it that much. I'll come again.
Okay.
I'll just jump in quickly. And just before you, Tony, you mentioned, Carmel, that you specialise in franchises. Yeah. How did that become about?
It became about, it's just by extending our services because franchise groups, unfortunately, it's great for some people to actually start their own business because the model's already there, the marketing's there, the name's there. But it is unfortunate the more and more that networks and people that we work with is that HR, for some reason, it just gets left behind. It's like one of those things that I'll do it when I'm not busy. I'll do it when I haven't installed that new computer system. I'll just do it another day at another time. And I don't think the true understanding of human resources is actually a concept of some businesses. I think some people still think it's recruitment, but human resources, they're people. They're resources for the business. They're very, very helpful and very, very useful. Yeah. And unfortunately, they always get put on the back burner that a computer system is more important than a people system, so to speak. Yeah. So it's a matter of getting out there and assisting them with areas that unfortunately get left behind.
Yeah.
Now, I've got a question for Belinda. I've heard the term transformational HR. What does that really mean?
I'm so glad you asked, Tony. One of my favourite topics. Transformational. Most people have got some sort of concept or understanding of what we call transactional HR. So I'll take a step back and start from the beginning. Transactional HR is all of the paperwork side of things and the compliance documentation side of things that most people associate with human resources. So things like Fair Work compliance, awards, industrial relations, contracts of employment, position descriptions, performance reviews, and even exiting staff out of the business, whether that's because of a resignation or a termination due to misconduct or something like that. So there's all of those sort of legal stuff that sits in the background that forms the foundation of all of your HR stuff. But We absolutely help clients with all of that, because that's really a minefield and they've got to get on top of that as a foundation first. But then once that's under control, and the easiest way to get that under control is, as Carmel said, the Human Resources Information System, the HRIS. It kind of does it for you if you put a little bit of time into it in the first place, which we can help with. But the transformational HR is really where you get to help a client move the business to the next level. And Simon, you'd be all over this as well with what you do, I'm sure. So this is about, as Carmel was saying, engaging the staff. So instead of people just turning up to work and doing the bare minimum that's required to keep their job and keep the boss happy, it's instead changing the focus and communicating with our teams so that they can become really engaged in the business. Because if you've got an engaged team in the business, so someone who really cares about the business, they come up with new ideas, they tell their friends, they drum up extra business, they improve processes, they do all of these extra things that mean that the business can be so much more successful moving forward. And that's what we like to work with clients in. So what are the kinds of things that can help clients get a hold of some of what we term discretionary effort from their staff? So that's that extra effort that people want to put in. They don't have to put in to keep their job. And that's, as I said, mentioned before, it comes back to the culture in the business. So, to quote the castle, it's the vibe of the thing. So it's, what does it feel like to work here? And do I feel appreciated? And am I trusted? Is it fair? All of those sorts of concepts that, again, Tony, from a wellness perspective, they're just fundamental, to people that come in. So we don't leave all of that stuff at the door when we go to work. We bring it all with us. And so we like to work with clients once we've got the fundamental foundational HR stuff under control, more in that transformational space, which is all about getting people more engaged. How do you do that? You do that through living your values. You do that through being a leader, because study after study keeps telling us that leadership is something that every person is looking for, particularly in the workplace. But in Australia, we tend to be over-managed and under-led. So, we can teach leadership. That's something that we can teach people. What are the kinds of things that you need to do to get that?
Yeah, one of the things, Belinda, which would have been a bit of a challenge is COVID. What things what sort of programs have you put together to help build the culture with COVID around? Because there's a lot of stress out there.
There's a lot of stress out, yeah. And look, we're currently in yet another lockdown, which, although on the one hand, because it's we've been around so many times with a lockdown, clients at least understand what to do in their business. But there's this cumulative effect of crisis fatigue, I think, that people are really getting to at the moment, which is difficult for everyone, business owners in particular, but staff as well. Everyone sort of feels it. So, when COVID first happened back in March last year, it was unprecedented. Didn't we hear that word a lot at the time? Unprecedented, but it was, I stood up in front of that many teams and said, this is unprecedented. We don't know what's going to happen to your job. There were, a number of clients that were in those really hard hit industries, travel, tourism, hospitality, those kind of industries that have been really hard hit by the pandemic, that we had to go and have those hard conversations with and just lay it on the table and say, look, honestly, guys, we don't know what's going to happen here. We need everyone to drop hours, and we need you to agree to do that so that the business can survive and you can have a job at the other side of this, whatever that sort of looks like. That was all pre-JobKeeper, which was a godsend. Let's face it, it was fantastic. But you've got to have those open, honest, frank, robust conversations with people. And so many business owners, particularly small business owners, they know their teams really well. They know their families. They understand the sort of pressures they're under. It really hurts them to have to, make those sorts of decisions. And that's where we sort of could help out at the time, was we could go in as an independent person, although we know our clients and their teams, we're not working with them every day. So we can at least go in and say the words while, in more than one occasion, the owner sat there and cried. Like, it was really tough for them. And that, that was hard for us as well to go in and do that work. But at the same time, it had to happen. It had to happen for the staff. It had to happen for the businesses involved. But, we did a lot of scrambling at the time. Fair Work put out a lot of information. There were a lot of lawyers in our network that were putting out a lot of information. A lot of accountants in our network were ringing us to find out what to do with things, pre-JobKeeper. And as soon as JobKeeper came out, we said, go back to the accountants and talk to them because that's their area, not ours. So it was a tough sort of area. Did it impact our business? Yes, for about 3 weeks, and then our business has just grown in that time, and it's grown because people need someone that they can get to know, they know well, and can trust to ask these sorts of questions of, and that's where our phone a friend service really came from. So that was a bit of a bolt from the blue as well. But as Carmel was saying, we've built the business on one business, one consultant, so if you ring the business, you get the same consultant because they learn your business and understand your industry and what's happening in that particular industry. And that way, when you ring, you get the same person, you can ask your questions, and it's a lot more efficient.
Oh, beautiful.
Belinda, firstly, I must have a little chuckle that when you mentioned that word unprecedented, yes, I think it was actually on my word bingo game through COVID that every time someone would say it, I'd tick it off going, I'm closer to it. And the word unprecedented and uncertainty, I think, were two key words. So I get what you're talking about there. But I suppose transformational HR sounds obviously super interesting, and I've certainly got a hand in that as well. Is that where you spend most of your time?
Sadly, no. But thank you for asking. It's what we tend to find is that businesses, when they first come to us, they're coming to us with a pain point. So something's happened in the business. There's someone's rung Fair Work and asked a question, or they're expanding and putting on their first person, or two people aren't getting along, and that kind of thing. So we end up spending the first portion of our time with a new client really in that transactional space, because the compliance is important and it does form the foundation sort of moving forward. But the interesting space I find is once the business hits a bit of a growth phase, and really once they sort of hit sort of 10, somewhere between 10 and 20 employees, is where we start to see them really saying, I need to know more about this leadership stuff. I need to know more about culture. I need to know more about how I can influence what's going on here, because any group of people that you get together in a business is no different, will form a culture anyway, like regardless of whether you have any input into it or not, or it's going the way you want it to or not. So sometimes clients come to us from a transformational perspective, and it's really because it's not what they want. It's gone in a way that they don't like. It's not useful. It's not efficient. How can we change that? And you absolutely can change it, but culture changes slowly. So, and it comes down to, and this is one of the things we talk about all the time, it comes down to values in a business. And values are one of these things that if businesses have them, they're usually a pretty sign in the reception that looks very nice. Maybe they're on the website, but who knows what they really are. That's, you ask any of the staff members, they can't tell you what they are. And that's such a shame, because the values should be something that you live by. Carmel mentioned personal service is one of our key values, and it absolutely is. The only reason it remains there as a key value is because we live it. We review it on an annual basis. We review our values. Are they still in line with us as people and as a team? Because if people are going to come and join our team, we talk about our values at the interview. We talk about what we expect from people and what they can expect from us. So it's about living what you say you do, doing what you say you're going to do, basically. So the transformational HR, to me, is the key to long-term growth and sustainability in a business. Because fundamentally, the model goes, values influence behaviours, particularly of the leadership team. Behaviours influence the culture and what's acceptable around the place, the vibe. That influences how much effort people want to put into the business and how much of that extra discretionary effort they want to put in, which of course is going to influence the bottom line and whether the business is successful or not.
Thank you.
Now, Carmel, did you want to add any more about the transactional HR bit or the transformational?
Probably just in the transactional, I know we have spoken about the HRIS a few times, but it's really important for businesses to understand the compliance side of their business, because quite often they're not ready for the transformational side, which is the people side of it, until they actually get their compliance side of it right as well. So with the HRIS, like we were really excited when we partnered with the software system here in Australia, and also too that it is backed by a legal firm in Sydney to ensure that all the like it is always compliant. We always ensure it is always up to date. As an added bonus, it is a robust system where it has got OH&S as well. So you're sort of getting two systems for one. And I suppose just touching on that as well, like complementary to that system, not complimentary as in free, just as in what goes really well with it, is the phone a friend. Because that's also another major service that come out of this whole COVID, is because when the panic mode set, that's where we did become everybody's phone a friend. Yeah. That's where we also learned of, I suppose, what we describe as call centres around Australia that unfortunately weren't getting back to clients. That's why they were coming to us. But it shouldn't have to be a pandemic, or it shouldn't have to be where somebody just won't get back to you, for them to be able to pick up the phone with the confidence to phone a friend, ask a question, get on with running your business and looking after your people. So that was just something else I just wanted to add in there as well.
Beautiful. Carmel, perhaps you want to talk to us about your visions. What's your vision of the Proven Group?
Yeah. Our vision of the Proven Group is to ensure a holistic approach. And as I mentioned before, we do this by specialising in understanding people, improving performance, therefore increasing results, and providing the peace of mind. And that peace of mind comes from the phone a friend. That's probably, a lot of the vision. I know Belinda has, more to elaborate more on our vision.
Well, over you go, Belinda.
I love a good vision statement. And this ties in also to the values that I was talking about before. So the vision is really the aspirational thing why the business exists in the first place. And Carmel's hit on 4 really key terms there. So the first one we've said is it specialises in understanding people. And as I said before, people are such an important part of businesses. Clients or customers do business with people, not businesses. So every staff member really has to have a great understanding of why the business exists, why it's there, what it's actually going to be doing moving forward. So one of the things we like to do for clients is actually get them into a mindset where they can understand people, understand their staff, understand their clients, understand their suppliers. It's all basically a cycle that goes round and round. Then it's about improving performance. So as we said before, performance can be improved by a number of things. First thing we always look at is role clarity. So, do they have, for instance, up-to-date position descriptions? Have they been communicated? Do people understand what they mean? Are there boundaries in every role? What can I do? What can't I do? Is there a good understanding of that? That has an impact on how the performance actually is for that person. Then there's an ability question. So, does the person have the relevant training? Do they have the ability to do whatever it is that they've been asked to do? I often use as an example, if somebody asked me to build a bridge across a river, for instance, I do not have the ability to do that particular task. They might be very clear with the instructions on what they want me to do and why, and tie it all back to how it's going to be great and all that sort of thing. I physically can't do it. I have no engineering background and I don't know what a hammer is. So it's just not going to work. So do I have the ability to do that particular? And do I have all the tools and things that I need in the environment to be able to deliver that particular task? So things like, a computer and a mobile phone, tools, equipment, a space, time, all of those kinds of things. So we train our clients on, well, what is it? If you've got a performance issue in the business, it's usually one of those 3 things. So we walk them through a process to identify what it is. If it's not one of those three things which can be changed by the person, then it might be a motivation issue, which is when you would look at a disciplinary process potentially. So there's a lot of emphasis we put on managing people up first rather than blaming the individual for a performance issue, because often it's not the case. Then we're looking at increasing results for the business. And that was through that cycle that I talked about before: values, behaviours, culture, discretionary effort, and right through to the bottom line, and providing our peace of mind for our clients. So that's the compliance bit, I suppose. And compliance, not just from a HR perspective, but also from an OH&S perspective, through the HRIS. It's a much better value system than us doing it manually for a client. We can get it up and running really quickly for people, and they can just sleep better at night, knowing that if they did have a Fair Work inspector or a WorkSafe inspector turn up on site, they're going to be covered from a documentation and communication perspective with their staff. So I think the vision works really well for us at the Proven Group because it encapsulates all of those things that we're really passionate about.
Just go on, Tony.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the questions that I always ask at the end of these is, you've been in business now for 10 years. You must have come across some funny stories. Can you share one of those with me?
Yes. Oh, they've got something there. This is going to be good.
I'm just wondering if you are asking a HR business.
Yeah, then you're allowed to.
Are you aware that you're going to get something a little bit out of the box? One that springs to mind, I suppose, is I did have a client ring me a number of years ago now and say to me, this is going to sound terrible, Belinda, I've got so the business was a nursery and he employed truck drivers to deliver soil and mulch and things like that. So this guy was a truck driver. I've just had a phone call from this guy's partner to say he's using drugs again. What do I do? I thought that was an interesting question to ask me. But really it was a simple answer. The simple answer is, if you know that and you've been made aware of that, it's an occupational health and safety risk to him, to his co-workers and to the public. So as a business owner, you have to act on it and you have to take the appropriate action that's required at that time. So the appropriate action that day was to send him home, don't let him drive. And then look at, did they have a drug and alcohol policy? Was there any testing that could be done? Was there an employee assistance program in place where he could get some help? Because he'd had an issue apparently with it before and had gotten over it and had fallen off the wagon. So it's not straight away get rid of this person. It's, well, what can we do to help, but also to keep everyone safe in the first place.
Yeah, great.
Okay, I'm just mindful of the time at the moment. So I'm just going to ask Belinda and Carmel if there's any one message that you'd like to get to your audience, what would it be? Over to you, Belinda.
That people are a key resource in your business and they are worth so much more than just the minimum time for compliance work. If you can spend the time investing in your people, they will pay you back in spades. Carmel will have something.
Yeah, Carmel will have a gem for us.
Yeah, no, definitely echo what Belinda has said. And as I mentioned before, when you hear the word human resources, like, people are a resource in the business. They're just not there. They're not a tool. Like, as far as you need to spend time with them, invest the time in them. They will give so much more. There's that saying, I can't remember it offhand now, that if you look after your people, they will look after the customers and the customers will look after the business or something. So therefore, as a business owner, you really don't look after it yourself. So look after your people. And even speaking about, I know we keep speaking about compliance, with the two services that we've heavily invested our time in and advice in, and just can't get the message clear enough across, that with the HRIS, it is all about compliance. The Phone a Friend is about that, but also to its people through a lot of the training that Belinda runs. But I know we're constantly talking about compliance, which we it's even that quote as well, that if you think compliance is expensive, then try non-compliance.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'd like to thank Carmel and Belinda. I really loved what you've actually the messages that you've given us. And the best message for me is phone a friend. I think that was a great initiative because it makes such a big difference. And also how you've explained transformational and transaction HR. To me, that's sort of clarified. It makes it nice and simple how HR works. And I think HR is such an important area not to be forgotten, especially with COVID. Your staff is so important, and with COVID, people need to work from home, and sometimes when they work from home, they've got their children and there might be other people inside the house, and it's managing all that, and it's having that flexibility to work and understand that needs to happen. So I'd like to sort of acknowledge both of you for the work that you've been doing to help business owners go through such difficult times. Over to you, Simon. Please close it down.
Two things certainly come to mind. The first one is if Belinda doesn't know what a hammer is, don't get her to make anything for you. But the second one is, I suppose the key attribute for me that really stood out was the ability to listen to your clients. I think that's certainly a key element in any business, because at the end of the day, your staff members are your greatest asset. I haven't come across a business yet where that's not the case. So I applaud you, and I applaud you again on the growth that you've gone through in your business. You need to be commended for that. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Simon, would you like to close off the show now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for those that are listening, our next week we have our Let's Chat on the 30th of July at 10 o'clock, and we are very privileged to have the awesome Annette Trevidian on our show. Annette's a very savvy global confidence coach for women and is located on the central coast of New South Wales. Annette works with her clients to smash low self-esteem and self-worth, and specialises in helping women through marriage breakdowns, separation and divorce. Annette's going to share her personal story, so you won't want to miss this Let's Chat. Absolutely. So thank you again to our audience. We love having you, and we love the fact that we're growing this show as well. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Carmel. And thanks, Belinda. We would give you a great big bunch of flowers or something like that, or a big box of chocolate. But you know what? Instead. So there you go.
You can post them.
Thank you all. We really appreciate it, and all the very, very best in your business.
Yeah, you take care.
Thank you.
We'll say goodbye. And if you want to contact us, just contact us through Let's Chat. Oops, hang on a second. I messed that one up, but that's okay. But anyway, we'll bid everyone goodbye. If you want to contact us, look us up on LinkedIn or Facebook. You'll find us. And thank you very much. And keep safe.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
He's still recording.
So, do we leave now?
No.
No.
Tony looks like he's gone.
I know, that's why I didn't know whether we were supposed to. Oh, here he is.
Hang on a second,